आप मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके बेल आइकन को दबा दीजिए ताकि फ्यूचर में जो भी वीडियोस अपलोड होंगी उसकी नोटिफिकेशन आपको मिल सके. Before start working on directives, let us just clear out the home component for now. Okay, so I'm just going to remove everything from this component and save it. Also going to remove these properties because these are not usable right now. We are going to create our new properties for this particular demonstration. So I have removed everything, I think. Let me remove this callback method also. Okay, so it is pretty much new, right? I'm going to create a simple UI that will be asking like if you are agree to our terms and conditions or not. So if you click on agree button, it is going to display you a message that you have agreed to our terms and conditions. And if you're going to click on not agree button, then it is going to display you like we cannot process your request or kind of that, something like that. And also we are going to change the colors also based on the decision. So let us quickly create the UI. So I'm going to create a division, and inside this div I am going to have a h1 tag, and inside h1 tag I just want to have something like please read our terms and conditions. Okay, and then you can just state your terms and conditions as there is. So I'm just going to generate some random text. So this lorem is kind of some random text. If you can just use it using a extension in Visual Studio Code. I will just give its name inside the description of the video. Okay, now after this terms and condition I'm going to provide two buttons so that users can interact with this. So I'm going to create a division. Inside the division I'm going to create a button, and this button type will be button, and it is going to have a label that says agree, and I'm just going to copy the same thing and paste it here, and I'm going to make the label as I don't agree. Okay, now since you all know we can create event binding on click event for the button, so I'm just going to create a binding for that. So click event binding is like this, agree. I'm going to give the callback function name as agreed for the agree button, and the click event for this I don't agree button is not agreed. Okay, and now I'm going to create a function for that inside our TS file. So everything related to your code or logic is going to be inside the TS file. Everything related to your designing thing or user interface is going to be inside your home component, and everything that you are going to decorate your pages or styling of the pages is going to be inside your CSS file. So I am going to create the agree callback function, agree, and the second function that is not agreed actually, and this is not this is agreed. Okay, so let us just save it and go back to HTML and see is there any error. No, there is no error. Now I'm going to create a section also again like div. Here we are going to display the message. Okay, and the message will be coming from a property that we are going to create it inside the TS file. So I can just create a message here, message property of string type, and then I'm going to assign it simply a blank, or it is simply an empty string. Now I just want to assign some text. If user press agree button, then I just want to initialize that message as you have agreed to our terms and conditions. Okay, let's make a T as capital letter, and the same thing inside the not agree button, it is going to say something like sorry, you cannot proceed, cannot proceed. Okay, so these are the messages. Now you all know like how interpolation works, right? So we can just bind this message in our template like this. So here you have to place pair of curly braces, and inside here you can just paste the name of that particular property. So this is interpolation. So now if you save it and go to the browser, you will see that the same thing are being displayed here, right? And now nothing is being shown here because we don't have anything, any slide inside the messages message property, right? So if I click on agree button, it is going to say you have you have agreed to our terms and conditions. And if I just click on I don't agree button, it is going to say sorry, you cannot proceed. Okay, so this is how you can change the messages, but still we are going to uh, uh, learn how we can use ng class, right? So go back to the Visual Studio Code again and go to the CSS file of that home component. Now create two classes. One class would be success class. The name of the class will be success. So one note for the beginners. This dot represent a CSS class, right? It is a selector for the classes. It is a class selector in short. So I will be creating another video on this topic, but for now just understand that this is a success class. So this success class is going to make the text color of that particular message to green. Okay, and then also I'm going to create a normal class that is going to make the color to something orange. Okay, or orange red, anything, orange red. Save it. Now since we have created these classes, success class and normal class, I'm going to use these classes here. Like when user clicked on agree button, this text must be in green, and once they click on I don't agree, this text must be in red color, right? So here if they clicked on this agreed button, right, so I can just create a property here, just agreed or is agreed, boolean type, and then we can have default type as false. Okay, and we can just use this property inside our agree button. So if user is agreed, then we can just set this dot is agreed is equals to true, and if they clicked on I don't agree, then this is going to be false, is agreed is equals to false. Okay, now one thing here, you can log these things on the browser's console window. So to log any message on the console window, you can just use console class, and there is a function that is log. Okay, this log function you can use to print the logs on the console window. So I just want to print the message and agree, right? These two properties on the console. So this dot message is going to be printed on the console, as well as this dot is agreed is also going to be printed on the console. Okay, now I'm just going to copy and paste the same thing if user clicks on not agree button. Okay, save it. Now let us go to browser and see how console window looks like. Right click, inspect. Okay, so to access the console window, you can just right click on the page anywhere and then click on the inspect menu, and then after clicking that you will see this kind of right side content, right, this window. Now you can see the console window here. This is the console window. Whatever you are just printing through console.log or console.error or console.info, it is going to be printed here. So I'm just going to clear everything. This button is used to clear everything that is written in this console window. So I can just click it to clear everything, and now clicking this agree button, right? So if you see, it is printed this, like you have agreed to our terms and conditions with true. So this is your messages property, and this is your is agree property. Now if I click on the second button, it is going to print sorry, you cannot proceed and false. Okay, got it. Now let us implement ng class here. So if ng class if agreed, then it is going to be green, otherwise it is going to be red. So now go to the HTML file and then go to this div and use this ng class directive. Okay, this is attribute directive. Now you have to provide a condition. Okay, so condition is based on is agreed, right? Is agreed. If it is agreed, then it is going to use the class name success. Otherwise, it is going to use the class that normal. Okay, this way. If I save it and go to the browser and click on agree button, see the text is in green. But if I click on don't agree, see the text is in red color. Right? So this is how you can use ng class programmatically to manage your elements. Okay, please post your questions in the comment section. Now let us try to use ng style directive. So whatever we have done using ng class, okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing, but this time I'm going to use ng style. So first of all, what is ng style? So ng style is basically used to provide inline styles for any HTML element, right? So what is inline style then? This might be in your mind. So inline style is basically a style that you provide in the same tag itself, right? Let me just show you by an example. So if I go to the browser, inside the Visual Studio Code and go to HTML, right? And if I just use this particular h1 tag here, the header tag, and if you are aware of this style attribute, okay, so you can just give all your style here also, like color to orange. Okay, so this is called inline style. Okay, but this is kind of hard coded, and this is not the Angular way. This is simple plain HTML way of styling. So if I go to browser and see what happens, see the h1 tag is now in orange color. But if you want to do the same thing using the ng style property or ng style directive, you can use it this way. So first of all, let us create a extra property for that. Let's say this dot, or let us just reuse this agreed property also, right? This dot is agreed property. So if this is true, then we are going to make this h1 tag in orange, otherwise it will be in black. Okay, so to use the ng style directive, there is a format. You can use this format here. So you have to first write this ng style directive inside the square bracket, then inside the double quotes, okay, inside the double quotes you have to provide its value. So the first property will be the CSS property, like whatever you want to change. So in our case, for our example, I want to change the font color, right? So here I will be writing color, then after the colon symbol you have to provide a condition. Okay, and after writing the condition you have to provide the values for that particular property. Like if that agree button is clicked, then it is going to be in orange color. If that is not clicked or it is false, then it is going to be in black color, right? So let us just demonstrate it on the Visual Studio Code, how you can achieve that. So let us just remove this style from here and use the ng style directive. And inside ng style directive, as per the template, we have to first provide a CSS property name, and that property name will be color. Okay, then you have to provide a condition. So the condition is agreed. Okay, so if this particular flag is true, then you are going to provide a value to it. So what will be the color? It will be orange. And if that particular property is false, like is agreed is false, then it is going to be black. Not black, it is black. All right, clear? Like first we have created this particular directive, then inside the curly braces of the double quotes, we have to provide the property whatever we want to change. So we want to change the color of that particular tag. Now we have to provide a property name or a condition. Actually this is a condition. So if this condition is true, then it is going to use this orange color, and if it is false, then it is going to use the black color, right? So one thing to note here is if you are not using any equal sign here, it will be going, because it is simply blue, right? So if this program is going to be compiled, this is agreed is going to be replaced with true or false, that is boolean, right? So you don't actually need to write something like this, true or false, because it is simply a boolean. Okay, so if I just save it and go to the browser, if I'm clicking on the agree button, see the text in orange. If I click on I don't agree, the text came back to black. So this is how you can use ng style directive. Now the next thing is structural directive. Okay, so as we all know, like structural directives are actually used to manipulate the DOM. Okay, like it can remove something from DOM, or it can include some extra thing inside the document object model, right? So the very first structural directive is ngIf, and this ngIf is used to make some elements visible or invisible, right? It is similar to the if statement in your programming languages. So you will be providing a condition, and based on that condition, it is the particular HTML tag or component is going to be visible or invisible, right? So the syntax for this ngIf is star ngIf equals to your condition. So if this condition is true, that means this condition is satisfied, then this particular tag will be visible, right? And if this condition is false, or somehow it is null, then this particular tag will be invisible from the DOM, or it will be removed from the document object model. Okay, so let us understand this by having some example. Now I'm just going to the Visual Studio Code, and I'm just going to reuse the previous example. Now this time I want to remove this message property. Okay, this message property, I'm going to use some static text instead of using this particular message property, right? So I just remove this message from everywhere, and here also save it. It will be complaining on HTML tag, so just remove it. And now here just print something like you clicked on agree button. Okay, and also I'm going to create another paragraph tag by just copying it inside the same division, and this time I'm going to print something, you clicked I don't agree button. Okay, now we can remove this, save it, and check on the browser. It will be displaying everything. It is having some error related to message, so where it is being used. Okay, here, sorry. So remove this console.log also from both the places, save it, and now go to the browser, and it will be clear. You clicked on agree button, you clicked on I don't agree button, right? So these two are printed, no problem. I'm going to write some logic here inside this HTML file itself. Okay, so I'm going to use this ngIf directive. So how you can write that? Star ngIf equals your condition inside the double quotes. Okay, so your condition is going to be here. So in this case, I'm just going to use is agreed property. So if is agreed, then you clicked on agree button. Otherwise, and same thing, I'm going to use the same condition here also. Star ngIf equals is agreed, right? But this time for this particular paragraph, I'm going to use not sign here, like exclamation sign. It is going to be like if it is agreed, if it is not agreed, right? This way it is going to work. Like for example, if is agreed's value is true, then this particular section will be visible, But if it is like, since it is true, then exclamation true is going to be false. So in that case, this paragraph tag is going to be invisible or completely removed from the DOM. So save it, and now let us go to the browser and see what happens. See, that particular the first paragraph is removed because by default is agreed is having default value to false. See here in the component file, it is having the default value to false, so that's why it is invisible. If I click on the agree button, see what happens. After clicking on agree button, it is message is changed. That means that particular paragraph is removed and the first paragraph is included. So if I just right click in this particular message and inspect it and go to the elements, you can see there is a p tag, only a single p tag. If you can see, there is no other p tags inside this div, and this is showing you clicked on agree button. If I click on I don't agree button, then see, this is the paragraph and the first paragraph is changed, like it is completely removed. So this is how you can use ng if directive.